Everybody, this is Tom Barnes in the Chicago scene virtually for Women's History Month. And why is that a big deal? Because it is a big deal. It's Women's History Month, and I thought, why not talk to four of the most powerful women in business, some in the Chicago area right now for this segment. So I'm going to go around the room. We have four ladies that are going to speak. First, I have Amy Arrett. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Great, Tom. How are you?
Good. And you are the CEO of Madison Reed and you're a partner in True Ventures, correct?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And then I have Julie Smolyansky, and you're the president and CEO of Lifeway Foods, right? Otherwise known as Keeper.
Yeah, you got it.
And then I have Gwendolyn Perry Davis. Gwendolyn, you are the senior director of operations at the Museum of Contemporary Art, right?
That's right, Tom, and a fellow Southsider.
Fellow Southsider, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it very much. And then I have Katrina Markoff of Vosges Chocolate. Did I get that right, Katrina?
Vosges, yes.
Vosges.
Chocolat.
Yeah, I'm not great with the French. I apologize with the butchering the name. But I wanted to welcome all of you ladies to my segment. I appreciate it. First, I'm going to start off with Amy, just because that's the order I have. And Amy, why don't you just explain real quick how you got your start to be the CEO and founder of a company or an entrepreneur? Just get into that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was raised by very strong women who decades ago believed that women could do anything. So I came from a family where women were, it was great to be an entrepreneur, and I went that direction after business school. I was a venture capitalist full-time for about 6.5 years and then was missing operating. And so I founded Madison Reed, which is a hair color company with better ingredients that has a very large online presence as well as stores throughout the country. And in fact, we have a number of stores in Chicago that we've just opened. And so happy to be here.
And you named your company after your daughter, correct?
That is correct. Her first name's Madison, her middle name's Reed. And so I'm just trying to keep the tradition of strong women knowing that they can do anything that they want to do in life. And that's why I named the company after her.
With Women's History Month being in March, what does it mean for you to be the CEO and also name the company after your daughter, who I'm guessing at some point will be involved in the family business?
I'm not sure about that. She's pretty good at packing boxes as a summer intern, which is good for where she should start.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's got paid their dues.
Yeah. You know, what it means to me, the real metaphor is that we believe at Madison Reed that a confident woman is beautiful. And so it's really just a metaphor for all women to feel confident. We believe in that deeply in the company.
Julie, for Women's History Month, what does that mean to you?
Well, Women's History Month for me is a time to celebrate and honor the achievements of women throughout history. You know, the reality is that our voices, our stories have been erased from history books, from museums. There's not a single museum dedicated to the achievements and accomplishments and contributions of women. There's banana museums, there's ice cream museums, there's a museum for just about anything, but there's not one for women. And, you know, I think that's really unfortunate because women have been leading through crisis, especially since the beginning of time. We lead in our families, in our homes, in our communities, in our companies. And, you know, these stories are important to share. I think it's important to just in general help build a healthier and safer society. When young boys even see the contributions of women and girls, they're more likely to respect their classmates and their female coworkers in the workplace. So it's incredibly important to me to honor and celebrate all the great things that women offer in the world. And it's not just a nice thing to do. You know, companies with female founders perform 63 times better than male founder companies. And yet VCs are only funding like 2% of female founded companies. which is a huge opportunity for anyone who's out there looking to invest in women funded companies. You know, these are some of the important reasons why I love celebrating women every day, not just during Women's
Yeah, not
History
just 1 month, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's really important that we share our stories, and you know, there's a lot that we can do to help elevate. So thank you for creating a segment like this to be able to share these stories.
Absolutely. Gwendolyn Perry Davis, another Chicagoan fellow Southsider. Gwendolyn, what is Women's History Month for you?
Women's History Month for me is an opportunity to celebrate women who are working right now, who are doing amazing things in their lives and for their communities. I'm really struck over the last few years, especially during my time here at Dean of Contemporary Art, where we have a focus on making sure that women are represented both on our walls and our programs, at the incredible diversity of voices and input that women can have in our space. They allow us to have dialogue and discourse, sometimes uncomfortable, but always moving and always pushing us forward. Right now at the museum, we have two women artists on view, Carolina Castedo and Christina Quarles, both who inspire me every day to try just a little bit harder to make sure that those whose voices are not necessarily represented in typical art spaces or sometimes in community spaces are represented here. And that I and my colleagues, which I'm very proud to say, I work with a women director and all of my peers are women in our senior leadership team, are making change and inviting others to join us in that change.
That change is important for several reasons. I mean, after the pandemic we've had and the unrest that was most of last summer, I feel like change for the better is the theme going forward.
I think so. And I don't think I believe that all of us who've experienced this and made it through are very excited about what the opportunities and what lies ahead for us. We don't know quite what that looks like. I certainly don't. But last year taught me many, many things, as it did others. One, making sure that your voice is always being used and to use your voice for others. I think that was one of the most important outcomes for me, for so many of my friends, for the people and our visitors who come into the museum each day.
Katrina, another Chicagoan and who has done well, CEO, president. What does Women's History Month mean to you?
So this particular year of Women's History Month really means something kind of very different to me than it has in the past, which is I feel like we have this amazing momentum moving into 2021 of sort of balancing the archetypes of male and female, and it rising in a very female type of moon, if you will. I think there's a tremendous, with all the uncertainty that has come from COVID, I think there's also been this incredible surge of creativity and sort of feminine grace, and also awareness of what a lot of women have had to go through in the last year to support their families and work and balance it all, and how, you know, me personally anyway, I've sort of created this new higher version of myself in all the struggle and realize that I can really do it. And I think there's been a lot of acknowledgement of that from men. And I feel like there's a little bit of a surrender too. And I think we're coming into this really golden age of balance between the genders and a lot more respect for the tenacity and the unknown and sort of the intuitive nature of women.
Surrender, that is something that stuck out what you just said about men surrendering what has been for years and years, right? Like it seems that companies are more open to change and change in leadership, the change of the type of leadership, you know? I mean, yes, male to female, and what does that mean for companies? You know, like the way it's been, we've all heard this, oh, this is the way it's always been done, but that doesn't always mean that's the correct way it should be done. And
Right.
It sounds like surrendering that belief is how we can move forward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that takes faith and belief in believing that on the other side of this dark path that you can't really see, that there will be light,